Alright, this is part 2 for Drawing for Dummies. You remember those boxes, triangles, and circles that we drew in the first video? Well, today we're going to shade them, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. So we're going to start off by drawing that box again. Again, try to use the least amount of lines that you can. Quick, simple, we don't want any chicken scratch. And then we'll go ahead and draw that triangle. Again, it's just those two diagonal lines, that straight line at the bottom, and then the ones going back and connecting it off with another diagonal line. And then lastly, the circle. Again, doesn't need to be perfect, you just need to be able to tell what the shapes are. Now, there are multiple different ways to go about shading. Today, I'm just going to show you one of the easiest, quickest, and simplest ways to start off with. Later on, you could change the method if you want to, but for right now, let's just keep things simple. So we first need to pick our light direction. For this, we're going to just use the top right section. We'll have the light coming down from the right to the left. As you can see from the arrows, that's the direction where the light's going to actually hit each shape. When shading, you don't want to use the very tip of the pencil like this. Instead, you want to use the side of the lead of the pencil so you can get a smoother gradient against the paper, and you can also cover more area doing it this way as well. So with our pencil, let's go ahead and lightly just shade in left from right, from top down on the side of our box here. This is the side that's going to be covered in shadow because it's facing away from the light. And when you're shading, just go ahead and again, keep a loose grip on your pencil, shade in the whole area, and it's okay if some areas look a little bit darker. You can just go back over it, try to smooth it out again with the side of the lead on your pencil. Now we can clearly see which side is light and which side is dark. We can even add in a little cast shadow at the bottom here, just to give it a little bit more of a believable 3D form. Let's go ahead and move on to the triangle here using the same method. Again, light, loose, just shading with the left to right motion, covering up the area that's facing away from the light. And you can go over the parts that are darker in some areas as well to smooth the areas out. And also adding in that little cast shadow just to show that this is indeed a 3D object. And if you run into a problem where all the shadows are kind of blending in together and you can't really see the form of the shape anymore, what you can do is just draw a darker line to separate the backside of the shape with the cast shadow on the ground, just to again show a little bit more separation between the two. Now for the circle, we're going to again use the same method, except kind of make the shadows curve a little bit on the side, just because this is indeed a round object. So we want to emphasize that it's round. So the way that we shade, as we come down, we're going to curve along the side. And this is where having a blending stick, or even if you don't have a blending stick, a Q-tip helps, because most spears, a ball or whatever, it's going to be smooth, right? So the shadow, you want to make the shadow smooth as well. I'm going to show you how to do that. We also want to emphasize again as well that there is a curve on the back side, so we're going to make the side on the edge just a little bit darker than the ones closest to the light, just to show that transition from dark to light. Again, even though I'm using an iPad, the method will still be the same. As you blend, I'm going to go into my blending brush here, and what you want to do with your blending stick or a Q-tip is you want to lightly press against the pencil lead that you put down on the paper, kind of like smudging it to the right side of towards the light. Again, you want to do this very lightly. You don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, because the more you press on it, the more you kind of get the detail of the shading away, right? If you press down too hard, it's going to get very muddy very fast, and then you're going to have a bunch of blotches and spots in your shading, and that's what you want to avoid. You want to try to get this as smooth as you can. No blotches, no spots, just a nice light tap across the letter that you put down on the page to make that smooth transition. You can even leave some spots untouched if you want to. It's your choice. I feel like it looks better when you don't smooth out everything. And then we could end it off with a simple cast shadow. But that pretty much wraps up the video. Thank you guys for watching. Again, this was part 2 for Drawing for Dummies. I will show you guys in the future videos how to combine these shapes to actually make objects that you see in your day-to-day life.